If you're looking for an affordable 35mm lens for your Sony camera, for truly unique images, check out this 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4 review. I'd never appreciated how much fun there was to be had with the manual focus lens until I received the 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4. This small, heavy, rather simple piece of gear brings a huge amount of joy and bokeh to your shooting, thanks to an insanely fast maximum aperture and some quirks that give every image a healthy dose of character. However, if you're a pixel peeper that wants crisp, perfect images, this lens is not for you. Sony has plenty of others that fit that bill. If you want to rediscover some simple joys in your photography, or if you simply want to experience f1.4 without spending an insane amount of money, this lens could be a perfect choice. In addition, other than truly vintage lenses that require an adapter, there's nothing else on the market quite like it. Two things will leap out at you as you slide this lens. From its rather smart box, the size and the weight. This is an exceptionally small lens in a rather curious shape, with a real heft to it. This lens is less than 2 inches in both width and length, and is so slim that part of your camera's mount will remain visible, thanks to its all-metal and glass build. Even the lens cap is metal. The 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4 has a very solid weight. It makes you feel like you could throw it much further than any other lens. I don't recommend this. Most 35mm f1.4 lenses for Sony, all costing at least 4 or 5 times more than the 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4, have 9 aperture blades. By contrast, the 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4 features 11 aperture blades. How they've managed to cram this inside such a small lens is a mystery. This means that the out-of-focus areas have a wonderfully distinctive character to them that makes this lens unique. The throw of the focusing ring is only a quarter turn, which is convenient but does mean that you need to be quite precise when you're using this lens wide open. Thankfully, that dampening means that you have a lot of control, but without it feeling like the lens is fighting you. By contrast, the aperture ring that sits at the front of the lens is very slightly loose. Each aperture clicks gently into place, and you can actually create your own f-stops by leaving it halfway between, should you wish. It's worth noting that, as well as being a manual focus lens, there are no aperture information embedded into your image files, and nor is the name of the lens. This is a lens that does not produce a lot of sharp images, especially if you're new to manual focusing as I was. I thought that this would annoy me, but it's actually proven to be a lot of fun when they are sharp. They're sharper than you'd expect for a lens of this size and price. If you want to increase your odds of getting sharp images, it's worth stopping down to f2 or f2.8. But that does then mean missing out on a lot of what makes this lens so enjoyable. Anything that's not towards the center of the frame will be soft. However accurately you focus, and corner sharpness is quite poor all the way through to f8. In addition, the lens does not entirely render sharp images when focusing at infinity. As a result, I embraced the looseness that this gave me with my photography, and it made me appreciate the character of images produced when shooting subjects that are only a few feet away from me. If, like me, you're new to manual focusing, there are a few tricks to increase your chances of grabbing a sharp image. You can switch on focus peaking, which introduces an overlay to show which parts of an image are sharp. However, this is not very accurate, and it can be distracting. Instead, set one of your customizable buttons to become a focus magnifier. This slows you down somewhat, but it is much more accurate and gives far greater consistency. Image quality is both brilliant and not fabulous at the same time. Brilliant in that the bokeh is beautiful and the drop-off between in focus and out of focus is rather glorious. Not great in that vignetting can be intense, especially when focusing at infinity, and flaring is very poorly controlled. To dramatically reduce the vignette, it's necessary to turn off the camera's electronic front curtain shutter. You can further improve vignetting by shooting at shutter speeds slower than 1/1000. However, these are both aspects to be embraced as part of this lens's character. I've been enjoying this as an excuse to throw on quite a heavy edit in Lightroom and embrace the vintage feel that this lens brings. As mentioned, the corners stay soft from f1.4 through to f8. Only at f16 do they match the sharpness in the center of the frame. There's a fair amount of green fringing in areas of strong contrast that you may want to fix in Lightroom. All of this may sound like a long list of reasons not to use this lens, but I should emphasize again, this lens is for creating fun, imperfect, distinctive images, and you just won't get that with more conventional lenses. Lenses with such fast apertures can command some incredibly high prices, but with the 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4, the manufacturers have created something that's both entertaining and very accessible. As detailed above, image quality is compromised, but the bokeh and shallow depth of field more than make up for it. You can probably get a cheaper alternative by hunting down a vintage lens and then figuring out the best adapter to use. But if you want something fast and full of character delivered to your door, the 7 Artisans 35mm f1.4 is an excellent option. This has become my 35mm walk-around lens of choice for those days when memories and idiosyncrasies are more important than image quality. To read the full reviews and sample images, please visit the link in the video's description. Thanks for watching.